Hello everyone, and welcome to today's special how to make a plush video. So, today I'm going to teach you all the basics you're going to need to know to make and post your own plush video for YouTube or for whatever. Now, I'd like to add as a disclaimer that I'm not going to go too deep into editing, mainly because I have no way to show you guys the editing. I don't have a screen recorder or anything. Maybe in the future I'll do a video like a tutorial on just green screening or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to run through the basic key points on how to make your own plush video. So let's get started! Wahoo! So, before you can do anything about plush filming or plush tubing, you need to learn your 3 P's. This is very important even if you're not a plush tuber or do anything with plushies. This is important to any type of filmmaker. These stand for pre-production, production, and post-production. Now, that might sound confusing, and that's because it is. So I'm going to run through it and give you the general idea on what these mean. Let's start with pre-production. Now, first of all, I'm going to explain to you what pre-production is. Pre-production is anything you do to start your movie before you start filming. So, like getting the plot together, the script, location, everything like that. So let's actually start with the plot. And unfortunately, like editing, there's no real way I can show you how to come up with a plot for a plush video. You just have to use your imagination, you know? It's your playground, your sandbox. You gotta be creative. So, you might come up with an idea that I never would have. It all just takes is a little imagination and some creativity. But when you do come with an idea, make sure to write it down. That is so important. I recommend writing them down in a notebook or something like that. Write down the basic plot, and if you come up with a title, do that. Sometimes I don't even come up with the plot at first. I just come up with a title and build up from there. That could be a good idea. Other ways is what people call the noun game. You think of a noun and you build up a plot from that. I think that's how it works. I don't know, I've never used it. And after you come up with the plot, the next thing you need to do is write the script. Now, before on I.S.B Studios, I haven't really written a script. In one video, I came up with storyboards, which is basically drawing out almost like a comic of what your video will look like. But writing a script is very helpful. Sometimes when I'm making a video, I just don't know what to say or how to word it, or like that, you know. That was totally not scripted or anything. So here's what I recommend. If you don't have any fancy software, if you have WordPad on your computer, that's pretty good. Right now I'm working on a special episode, the I.S.B movie, more on that later, and I just used WordPad and kind of wrote out everything as in characters and stuff like that. I just made things bold when a character was talking and put asterisk marks when something was happening and parentheses for location. It's pretty simple. I definitely recommend writing scripts now. Now that I've started it, I probably will do it for every video. So, after you have a plot and a script, you need to work on location. Now, if you are super, advanced and you've already wrote out your location in your script or something like that, that's good. Even if you still want to look at the location. And there's very key points to picking out a location. Number one thing is that you want a nice, quiet location like this. Nothing to disturb you, and even if there's a lot of talking going outside, shut the door if you can, and it helps a lot. And if you cannot get a quiet location like I'm in right now, if people are talking, or I don't know, singing, watching TV or something, you can always ask politely for everyone to stop what they're doing or move to a different room or something like that, so people know that you're trying to work on a video. Now let's move on to lighting. Now, a mistake we made in a lot of our older videos was we used something called natural lighting. And you can see I'm doing that right now. The window is just open right now, and you can see it doesn't look bad, but there's one problem. Lighting is always changing. Because the way, the sun, how it moves around. This isn't a science program, this is a plush video tutorial. But lighting always changes. It's brighter in some parts of the day, it gets darker sometimes. And in some of our videos, you can see that mistake. One video in particular was Bowser's new henchman. In one scene, it was very natural light, it looked nice, and then the next scene, there was just a bigger light on because it got too dark to film. So that's something you always want to be prepared for. So I recommend closing the blinds and just turn on your regular lights. It might not look much better, but it definitely will stay consistent and it won't change on you. And if you want different or special kinds of lighting, I recommend getting a desk lamp. So you can angle that. If you want certain lighting, something like this for a night scene or a spotlight or something, you can do that. Also, this one right here is bendy, so I can change the angles I want. So it can also create different looks. So maybe a light right under Mario for a creepy camp story. Ha ha ha. I don't know, something like that. So that's enough for lighting. I think we're done with pre-production. Now we're gonna move on to okay, so now it's time to talk about production. And you're ready, cause it's a doozy. Production is all about filming. That's right, just filming. Of course there's other little details, but the majority of production is just filming and getting all the footage. And that brings up to another subject of what to film with. And honestly, there's a camera on almost anything nowadays. Of course, like video cameras and cameras, but also phones, tablets, even some computers. Wait, do Apple Watches have cameras? I don't know, I don't have one, but do they? Nah, I'm getting off topic. My point is you do not need to go out and buy the fanciest camera, because that's kind of ridiculous. If you have a good camera or just any camera with you, you just start with that. When I started my channel, I just used my phone to record my videos, and I used a free app called KineMaster to edit them. Some of you guys might use that exact setup now, and that's perfectly fine. Now, I just use a Sony handheld handycam thingy and Movia to edit my videos, which is basically like iMovie, but for people who don't have iMovie. It's complicated. What I'm trying to get across here is that people might tell you, some people will actually believe that you need to go out and buy the fanciest and most expensive camera there is, and that's not true. You could if you wanted to. If you want to do that, go do that. That's why I switched to a camera, because I didn't want to film on my phone anymore. But it's perfectly fine to do that, because in the end of the day, it's not the camera that makes a good plush video, it's you. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but it's true. Without you, where would your videos go? The answer is they would go nowhere at all. So now that we have that out of the way, let's move on to a little bit of other things you need to do for production. If you notice, it's a lot easier to film if you have someone helping. Back in the old days of my channel, I used to have someone help, and we both did the filming and stuff. Now I do it by myself, and it could be very hard sometimes. I noticed, and you might notice too if you do it by yourself, it's very hard to film and use the character at the same time. Now I've been doing it for almost a year now of just filming with holding the camera. So I recently just purchased a tripod, and it makes things so much easier. What are you talking about, Mario? This is exactly what I mean. See, I can hold 2 plushies at a time. Mario, what are you talking about? Get out of here. And I think that's perfect. If you don't want to buy a tripod, you don't have to. I just got one like a couple weeks ago, and I haven't been using a tripod for like a year now, so it's fine. Whatever you want to do, but tripods will make your life a lot easier. Now, I'm about to just give you a bunch of little things here, but all of these matter so much to making a good plush video. So let's get started. those I showed you are great ways to open and end a scene. When you're opening a scene, I recommend doing a pan shot sometimes. And when you're ending a scene, you can sometimes do a turn side. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, we're not ending yet. So now, showing you all the little bits I just did, I'm going to put together a mini little clip. Oh, Luigi, I'm so bored. Me too, Mario. What do you want to do? I don't even know. I mean, what have we done? Well, I was just introducing everyone how to make a plush video. Oh yeah, that's why you shoved me out of the room. Nothing personal, Luigi. Yeah, I get it. Now I have nothing to do. Do you have any ideas? Well, we could go work on the I.S.B movie. Nah, let's procrastinate. Yeah! Luigi? Yeah, Mario? We are so lazy. Yep, you're right about that. So, how'd I do? Did you like it? Did you notice all the combinations I did of pans and little turn? And did you notice how easy it was with a tripod to hold two plushies at once? Yeah, that was really good. And so I think we're wrapping up production. Now we're going to move on to... As I said earlier, this part of the video, post-production, will probably be the shortest part, mainly because I can't really show you all the editing because I don't have a screen recorder. But, like I said about cameras, there's a lot of different things you can use to edit. Like I said when I started my channel, I used a free app called KindMaster. Now I use one I paid for called Movia. You never really have to buy a software, but I wanted to buy it. It's more like you want to upgrade. Or just change. It doesn't really matter. I'll link both of those softwares I used down in the description. And so without further ado, let's get started with a little bit of tips. Tip number 1 is always take your time when editing. I spend most of the time when I make a plush video, it takes me sometimes about 4 days to make. 2 of that is filming and 2 of that is editing. So I would recommend spending 2 or more days into editing. Don't try to fit it all in one night. Always be willing to try something new. When editing, you might discover a new effect or a transition or music that you haven't seen before, and it might fit the scene better than you originally thought. So always be willing to try a different thing when editing. I mean, if you stick to the old-fashioned, you might get bored of it, or your audience might. So always try to just mix things up a little bit. Transitions are also very important. You might have heard me say this once or twice in the video. Transitions are just how it looks between one video and the next. Did you see what happened there? That is called a transition. Instead of just going from one clip to the other, I added a little something in between. They're usually on editors, but just part of it, so you just have to look for that. Always try again, using different transitions to make your videos more interesting. Fade ins and fade outs are very cool too to set the scene. Adding filters to your videos can make them seem scarier, brighter, darker, happier, whatever you want. Probably the most important part for me when I make plush videos and editing is music and sound effects. The editor I use came with some free music and free sound effects. Most editors do. And if they don't, there are plenty of ways to get your own sound effects. One thing I might suggest though is don't overdo the sound effects. Would you please stop it? Okay, now that we got all those little things out of the way, remember that clip I made earlier? Now, instead of watching it again, I want you to, well, if you want to, go back in the video and watch it real quick. Oh wait, I have time. Okay, if you did that, thank you. If you didn't, I don't really care. Now, let's watch it when I edited up the old I.S.B Studios way. Oh, Luigi, I'm so bored. Me too, Mario. What do you want to do? I don't even know. I mean, what have we done? Well, I was just introducing everyone how to make a plush video. Oh yeah, that's why you shoved me out of the room. Nothing personal, Luigi. Yeah, I get it. Now I have nothing to do. Do you have any ideas? Well, we could go work on the I.S.B movie. Nah, let's procrastinate. Yeah! Luigi? Yeah, Mario? We are so lazy. Yep, you're right about that. So what'd you think? You like it? I used a bunch of things that we talked about, from transitions to fade in, fade out, some sound effects, and some music too. And I think that wraps up post-production. Of course, there's way more to post-production than just what I've shown now. I definitely recommend looking up some editing tips and just editing videos in general. Wow, that's it! Hope you guys enjoyed. I worked really hard on this video. Of course, there's some things I never really dived into that much that I personally don't do. Sometimes it's using microphones or something like that. I don't personally do that yet. I would like to in the future. And something you always want to do is always try to improve. Try to do something better than before. That's mainly why I upgraded to a camera and software instead of just my phone. I wanted to show everyone that I could do better. Not saying what you use is bad, though. Use whatever you want and whatever you have. And I also recommend watching a bunch of other plush tubers how to make a plush video. Epic Mario Bros and Stash Bros have really good how to make a plush video. Those are some of the videos I watched even before I made plush videos. Which brings me up to one more point, and that is, you should, if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, you should make plush videos before YouTube. I made a ton of plush videos before YouTube. Some will probably never get shown. The Cincy Sensei, my first video, was originally a plush video I had made. The plot was a little different, but it was still the same thing. This way, you get to experiment beforehand, and you get to try everything I said and more before you even post it. And I think that's very important. Finally, I'd just like to say, if you're not having fun, you might need to try a different video. There's a current series I'm working on right now. I won't tell you guys yet, but I've been working on it for a while and I got stumped. So I decided to move on. Right now I'm working on the I.S.B movie instead, which should come out in a while. I don't know yet. More on that a different time. But if you guys are working too hard on the video and it just gets too hard and frustrating, move on. When I made my first movie in like January of 2018, after that I was stumped. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to make a part 2, but the plot kept failing on me, and I didn't post for like 4 months. That's horrible. You should never leave your fans like that. Never go on a hiatus or something like that. I don't know. You should always just, if you get stumped like I did, move on to a different video. And if you run out of ideas, it's always good to parody a video. When I made the hiking trip, that main plot was a parody of both SpongeBob's Rock Bottom and the pizza delivery, both of which are amazing episodes of SpongeBob. If you don't watch SpongeBob, oh, you're on your own. Anyways, final words. Have a great time. I can't wait to see your plush videos. Tell me if you made some and I'll check them out. Thanks for watching. Bye.